You're grateful to be here, but quietly, you miss her, the woman you used to be. Before the diagnosis, before the betrayal, before the unraveling. And while everyone celebrates your strength, you're carrying a grief that has no name, the quiet grief of identity loss, and why it's not only allowed, it's sacred. Let's talk about the myth of only moving forward, because culture pushes resilience and bouncing back. You're just supposed to pop right back into who you were before, what your life was before. Like you got pulled out while this thing happened, and now you're just plopped right back into the same spot as if nothing ever happened, and you're just supposed to keep going like it never existed. And that's not possible. And it's not right to even try. It's ridiculous to try because it's not possible. But true healing allows for grief, even for past versions of. So just like when a relationship ends or a job ends or something is disrupted in your life, there's a period of mourning for all the imagined future that your mind has entertained. So it's not even that you had plans for things that now aren't going to happen. It's every thought you had of what if, possibilities, just random things that now all come flooding back because you realize none of those things are going to happen because of this line in the sand. And you're grieving for those parts of yourself that are not going to experience that anymore or after all. And you have to give yourself that, allow yourself that, and realize that it's natural to have these feelings of grief for who you used to be. Because we all know that whenever you go through any kind of personal trauma or what I call a life quake, that person isn't there anymore. You've transcended that person with that line in the sand of when this thing happened, whatever yours is, and there is no going back. So you're going to have this grieving period for that person. And it's an unspoken identity grief. You're not just mourning events, you're mourning who you were inside of those events. And it's a very personal, individual thing. And nobody can tell you how you're supposed to mourn it or how long it lasts. Nothing. This is all uniquely you, and you have to allow yourself to experience all of it in a way that feels right for you. And the grief often lingers in the background, unvalidated, because it's, well, that's silly. Why would I even think about mourning the person I used to be? I just move on, right? Resilience, bounce back, move forward. No thoughts of the past. What's the point in that? Can't go back, right? But you do need to validate that grief so that it's not running in the background, because that just wears you down, weighs you down. When you give it its due and bring it to the front and say, okay, here's this grief, and I honor this grieving process. I honor what it's time for me to grieve. And I will let it play out as it feels necessary. And then you don't have to deal with it in the same way anymore. It's not unvalidated. It's not operating in the background. Now you've brought it out and looked at it, and you can have gratitude and grief at the same time. They can coexist. It is possible. And feeling both is not a contradiction. It's more emotional maturity to say, I am grateful for who I am becoming now that I'm right here in this place, having gone through this. And at the same time, I can also grieve for who I had been and no longer am. And I can also be grateful for the opportunities I will have moving forward as this new person I'm becoming, because I'm stronger now. And at the same time, you can still grieve the future you thought you were going to have that is now going to be different. And you're making space for closure that empowers you in embracing a self-led sovereignty of who you are, of taking charge of your life, of boldly going where you've never gone before, and having that calm, clear alignment within yourself as you move forward, because you've had this grieving period and you've allowed that. I hope that makes sense to you, that you can have both at the same time. And there are rituals that you can do that honor who you were. You can write about it. You can do a type of symbolic release where maybe you write something and you burn it and just let that go. You can give voice to acknowledging who you were and how much you appreciated her. And now you're moving on. And making that space is something that you will really benefit from. So, what is one thing that you quietly miss about the woman you were, even if no one else would understand? Because this is just for you. So drop your answer in the comments. And if this named something you've been carrying, click like so that other women can find it too. And next we'll explore why what you're feeling isn't depression, it's disorientation.